I usually end each video that I record with the phrase, keep creating. In fact, above my right shoulder, you see create consistently. So I love talking about creating and what does it mean to actually create things, both as humans, as coders, as people in general. What does creation and creating and the art of creativity actually look like? Can AI do it? On this episode of Learning Driven Development, we're going to be reading We Are Entering a New Age, The Creation Age by GrahamTheDev. This was originally posted on February 22nd, 2023 on dev.to. The author, GrahamTheDev, can be found on dev.to. That's GrahamTheDev, or on X at GrahamTheDev, the Dev, all one word, on X/Twitter. And be sure to check out Graham's Discord, become a .monster, to learn more about accessibility. So, GrahamTheDev, here is the post. We are entering a new age, the creation age. Humanity is always progressing. However, the progression is not linear. We tend to experience periods of apparent slow progression in technology, followed by sudden explosions of innovation and growth. This is nothing new. We have had in recent history the agricultural age, the industrial age, and most recently, the information age. Each time we enter these new eras, society changes drastically. I'm here to argue that we have recently entered a new age, an age which I am coining as the creation age. The creation age. If you are in any doubt whether we are entering a new age, just look at ChatGPT. 2 months to reach 100 million users. But not only is the growth explosive, it is utilizing a new technology and embracing it, AI. Now, I say new as AI has been around for decades. The idea of a computer being intelligent is something that humans have considered for decades, even centuries. But where this is different to previous AI implementations is in adoption and acceptance. People are using AI regularly in their day-to-day lives. More importantly, they are actively using it, not being at the mercy of it or passively using it, as is the case with feed algorithms and search engine results. This shift is monumental. I am just not sure many people realize just how significant it is. Why is this a new age? A new age occurs when there is a rapid shift in society, often directly linked to an advancement in technology. The agricultural age meant that food scarcity was far less of an issue in the developed world, and food abundance, or should I say efficiency in production, meant that more time across the population as a whole could be spent on other pursuits other than farming. Then came the industrial age, where analog machines replaced a lot of manual labor. This allowed us to produce far more as a society with fewer people hours, yet again changing valuable skill sets. Most recently, we had the information age. An age where people from around the world were able to share knowledge almost instantaneously and at next to zero cost. An age where information was no longer localized, resulting in rapid globalization. And now we enter a new age. An age where digital brains are able to produce content at a decent level comparable to that of an average human in certain specialized disciplines. Artists are being displaced by AI image generators. Copywriters are soon going to be replaced by machines that write copy for them, etc., etc. But more importantly, as with any change of age, more can be produced with less resources. One individual can now produce the same as 3 people could, and this will only accelerate. Also, these skills required change. For example, I no longer need to spend years perfecting my skills as an artist. Instead, I need to spend time perfecting my skills at prompting and adjusting the output of AI, at curating the output to meet my needs. I need to be creative in a different way, but in a way that has a much lower barrier to entry and a much shallower and shorter learning curve. This is what heralds a new age, a shift in how society values skills, an increase in output, and a great shift that results in new opportunities, a shift that results in old skills and old businesses no longer being as relevant or even being replaced by those that can operate at the new required scale. Why call it the creation age? It is quite simple, really. Each age is defined by the key characteristic that drove societal change. farming for the agricultural age, factories and production at scale industry; for the industrial age, the internet, the dissemination of information at reduced costs and increased speed and scale; for the information age. The age of AI is going to result in creation at an unprecedented scale. AI can write music reasonably well, create art pretty well, write a poem well, and has already made great strides in video editing, video creation, and more. AI takes previous computation, generation of datasets, for example, and can create new visualizations, new analysis, new perspectives, and even more variations of data, and dare I say, even new data. The very core of any AI is to take some inputs and generate something new, in quotations, from them. Sometimes in a very rigid way, such as data analysis, and sometimes with an element of chaos, aka creativity, in the form of art or literature, etc. But it is more than that. Humans have finally created something that is capable of creating, albeit at a very simple level. And AI can do something that we cannot. It can create at huge scale. We are confined by our physical form to have only so much creative ability due to the limited processing power of the human brain. AI does not have the same limitations, and although it may not think like us or have the same breadth of skill, it can specialize in something and work at a much faster rate. Want more output? It can utilize more computing power, up to current technical, energy, and physical space limitations, of course. Be prepared for change. When a new age arrives, society adapts. Old jobs and skills become less relevant and valuable. New jobs and skills become more valuable and relevant. Tools and processes emerge that further increase the productivity of an individual. Those who embrace and utilize those tools flourish. Those who refuse to adapt tend to fall behind. In gathering my thoughts for this particular post, there's something about this that I am very passionate about. I'm very passionate about what creativity looks like as individuals, as humans, and my personal belief is that we as human beings were created to create. It is in our DNA to want to output something with the sense of creativity that I am building, I am creating, I am crafting something in a beautiful and artistic way. And the question is, can AI do that? Can AI create in the same way that humans can? Does it have the ability to be creative? And I think that answer has kind of fluctuated, especially just in the past couple of years. When it comes to things like music, obviously it's great as a good starting point, or even like artistry in pictures. It's a great starting point that can then be tweaked and edited, and the prompts themselves usually have to undergo a variety of different drafts. When it comes to editing for writing, usually it's been fantastic in the past couple of years for taking copywriting and making sure that it's crafted exactly how you might want it. It all involves usually training the AI, though, as well. One of the things that I loved in this blog that kind of got me thinking was, I need to be creative in a different way. This is the quote: I need to be creative in a different way, but in a way that has a much lower barrier to entry and a much shallower and shorter learning curve. And I think that could be true, but I would argue that there is always going to be a distinct difference in how we as individuals, as human beings, create that AI cannot replicate. But does that mean that AI can still create? Yes, I think it can, in the sense that if we were to look up the definition of create, let's see, it says bring something into existence. And yes, I think that that is objectively true for AI. It can bring something into existence, but for the most part, at least in current form, a lot of that bringing into existence is past work, past creativity efforts, or training done by current creativity efforts from human beings. So, can AI be creative? Yes. Can it create things? Yes. Are humans going to always be better at creating? I think yes, because human beings have this in the DNA that is very hard, and I think almost impossible, in my personal belief, almost impossible to replicate with an AI. You cannot teach an AI to create in the same molecular structure that a human being can create. when it comes to music, when it comes to writing, even now, when I know that AI is not perfected in the sense that 10 years from now, this might not be true, but even now, you can tell when something is written by AI and when it's not. You can tell when it's being generated by AI and when it's not. You can tell when music was crafted by AI and when it's not. But just like this article does say, when it says, I need to be creative in a different way. That's the quote. I need to be creative in a different way, but in a way that has much lower barrier to entry and a much shallower and shorter learning curve. I think that's absolutely true. Human beings now, because they have this innate sense of creativity, have so many more tools available to them. If I wanted to, code, I can now code much faster and learn more things because I have this ability to create faster using AI to help me create in a way that I didn't before. For music, if I had this idea of how a certain song might want to come to fruition, I can use AI to kind of give me a good starting point for that song and maybe give me more creative ideas than I would have had in the first place. Using AI as a tool is incredibly powerful, especially when it comes to creation. But is it ever going to replace how we create in the same sense that I think we were innately created to be creative individuals? No, I don't think so. At least not yet. And when that time comes, I think we'll still be able to use AI, use the creative output of AI for our own purposes. Because I think we're a lot different than that. Even when it scales, even in the extreme sense of what happens with AI in 20, 30, 40 years. Okay, maybe we won't all have jobs, but I still think that we will be more creative, or at least more creative in a unique and different way than AI ever will be.